That must be a famous line.
From Monty Python?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now time for something completely different. There, I said it with a British accent.
Well, I mean, maybe the Brits might not agree, but at least you said it in a way that's funny.
Should I start doing my School of Silly Walks as well?
All right.
Take it you're not a Monty Python fan.
Well, I am, but I
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Old, yeah.
Okay, here we are. So
Wow.
go to your tree, get your dram, pour it in a glass. We'll wait.
He promised me a tree, but I haven't seen it yet. So
We have a whiskey shelf instead of a tree.
That's true.
This is like Christmas to me. So.
Great.
So I hope you guys enjoyed today's whiskey.
Mm.
There's the color.
Yeah.
Looks like whiskey. Ooh, smells like whiskey too. This is another special whiskey, very limited bottling. I can tell you that there was probably only 138 bottles of this whiskey ever made. So, yeah, so I pull out all the stops for you guys. Definitely has some very classic notes from this distillery that I'm getting on the nose. Something that you always nose and be like, oh, that's these guys for sure.
It's like sniffing up a wheat field.
Yeah, yeah.
Although it's not wheat, though, I'm sure. But it's very grainy in the nose for me.
There's this beautiful sweetness in there too. There's toffees and vanillas, like the classic bourbon cask notes for sure. And it's kind of dry.
Very dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palate.
It's good.
Maybe whiskey tasters should come up with a new toast and say palate or palate. No.
Wow. Peanuts.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Wow.
Shelled or unshelled? Like peanut shells on the floor of Big Bad John's?
I love. I've tried a number of these.
That one's for you, Leon.
Yes. No, this is very nutty. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And and there's a bit of a saltiness in there as well.
I see what you mean. This is a very nice whiskey.
And there's peat. It's peated, but it's different kind of peat. It's not your typical Isla peat. There's like a kind of a musty, warehousey peat.
Kind of like peat nuts.
Peat nuts. There you go. If that's the
Peanuts
thing.
with a little bit of a peaty taste.
Okay. I wonder if anybody's ever tried that, like roasting peanuts with peat smoke.
Wow.
Or smoking peanuts with peat smoke. That might be a thing. Like going on the record for now, that was my idea. If you see it out there, I want to know about it. In the meantime, I should go buy some peanuts and start smoking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to give it a try anyway. I've never smoked peanuts. Or for that nuts.
You've ever had smoked nuts? I feel like there's a joke in here somewhere. We're digging, but coming up dry.
Very dry.
Or something like that. Anyway, I'm blown away by this whiskey. I think it's fantastic.
I'm surprised.
This is another one that was on my shelf for quite some time. And
don't you drink it?
Might be a bit of a whiskey dragon. I don't know, but no, I have from this distillery have no shortage of bottles. So
I know what you mean.
I had, and I'll tell you why I chose this one out of all the bottles of this distillery I have on the shelf. But before I do that, I'll show everybody what it is. So this is a Shelter Point. That's right, hometown distillery on Vancouver Island. It is a single cask peat. It's probably blurry, probably not picking that up. So Shelter Point, what they did was they released a couple years back, I guess. They had a bunch of different releases or editions, if you will, all single casks. So they just went through their warehouse and they picked all these special casks and they did like limited release. This one, only 138 bottles of this whiskey. And I decided to share it with you. And why do you say that I decided to share this whiskey with you?
Yeah, why?
Well, if you notice, and any hardcore Shelter Point fans will right away, it's not your typical Shelter Point bottle.
Or cork.
Or cork.
My goodness, I hadn't noticed that before.
Shelter Point usually has a beautiful glass bottle with a kind of a rounded top. I'm sure we have one around here somewhere.
Somewhere.
We can show you.
Where did...
Anyway.
Oh, here's one.
Yeah. So there's your typical Shelter Point bottle. It's got a beautiful glass cork.
They can never get out.
Well, there's a trick to opening them. Once you know the trick, it's
Yeah.
super slick. And actually, it's really cool. I'm surprised more whiskeys don't do stuff like this, because cork is actually getting harder to come by. And expensive. But anyway, so there was a time, I think it was around COVID, maybe just after COVID, and the Suez Canal thing and all that stuff, where they couldn't get these bottles. And so they decided to try out some other bottle designs. And this was one of them. With a rubber cork. And
is that what that is? Rubber?
Yeah, it's not even a cork. It's a rubber
You
cork.
can't call it a cork.
Yeah.
It's a plug.
And so the reason I chose this whiskey to share with you, I want to eventually open all my Shelter Points, but it just looked odd on my shelf beside all the other Shelter Point bottles. And
that's a good reason.
That is simply why I wanted to open it and drink it and share it with you guys. And boy, am I happy I did. This is a really special whiskey. Like I said, only 138 bottles were made of it ever. And the other special thing about it was a fellow YouTuber called Whiskey in the Six. He's got a whiskey YouTube channel in Toronto. He actually he hand selected this cask.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see right on the bottle, is on the back, it says Whiskey in the Six. Again, probably blurry, but yeah, so if you guys get a chance to check out his YouTube channel, it's actually pretty good too. He knows his stuff. He's really good at whiskey reviews, and I quite enjoy listening and watching him. And that's why I chose to share this whiskey with you. What is this whiskey, you say? It's a single cask peated whiskey, for sure. It is actually a blend. It's a blend of single grain barley, which means not malted barley, unmalted barley, and malted wheat. So that's the mash bill they used for this whiskey. It was matured for 5 years in ex-bourbon American oak casks, and then it was finished for 18 months in Lafroig quarter casks, which is where the peat that we're getting comes from. So it's what I like to call secondhand peat. The grain they used was not dried on a kiln with peat smoke. The grain they used did not have ppm of peat in any way, shape, or form. All the peat that you get from this whiskey is leached out of the cask in the 18 months it's spent in a Lafroig quarter cask. Now, remember, a quarter cask is exactly that. It's a quarter the size of a regular cask. So the exposure to the wood is going to be greatly increased, even though that it's probably like a second or third fill cask that they sold Shelter Point. The Shelter Point got their hands on a whole bunch of these Lafroig casks, and they've done some crazy good stuff with it.
Now, you said that Shelter Point is on Vancouver Island.
It is.
Near Campbell River, which reminds me of, for those of you that read the Whiskey Bible by Jim Murray, he highly rates Shelter Point. And
you don't have to read that book.
Just about all of them are highly rated, and he says that they're from Victoria Island.
Victoria Island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, Jim, who tastes, I guess, something like 20,000 different whiskeys each year.
I don't know. I don't think he tastes them all because
he might know his whiskeys, but he doesn't know his geography.
I don't think he tastes them all either, because you read the books year to year,
right.
and a lot of them don't change.
So how disappointing!
So sorry, distilleries might be actually paying him money
No.
just to get their whiskeys in his book.
You can't be doing it. Don't be telling me that now. I relied on it for a period of time.
Yeah. Anyway, it may be just as credible as other Bibles. I don't know. Oops. Did I say that? Maybe I had too many whiskeys. But anyway, so yeah. So this is a real special whiskey. Yeah. And shout out to my good friend Leon Webb, who was one of the distillers at Shelter Point at this time when this bottle was selected. So he played a part in it, I'm sure. And it's a fantastic whiskey. If you get a chance to try it, like I said, pretty rare. Definitely try it. Or any of the other single cask release they did, or any Shelter Point whiskeys for that matter. They just released in the premium spirits release in November. They just released their first single malt 12-year-old whiskey. So these guys are finally getting there. They're at that stage now where they have a 12-year-old flagship, which is pretty exciting for them.
So congratulations to Leon, but also congratulations to Patrick and the new co-owner, Chris Nelson, as well as Chris Reed, who I've had a chance to do a tasting experience with as well.
For sure. Chris, if you watch this video, I'm going to be contacting you pretty soon because our whiskey club has 3 casks sitting in their warehouse, and it's time for a visit, I think. So.
And one of them with finished in Lafroig quarter cask, isn't it?
No.
No.
One is Buffalo Trace bourbon cask.
Okay.
And 2 of them were Ardbeg casks.
Oh, I guess I wasn't paying attention.
But that's exciting too, because Ardbeg is.
I love Ardbeg.
That's like, so we're going to be seeing a lot of the similar stuff they did with Lafroig, but with Ardbeg casks.
Okay,
so.
perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cheers. See you guys tomorrow.
Slancheva.